Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be talking about the new top 25 for college football going into week 3. As the new top 25 looks a lot different than it did last week. There are new teams in, there are teams out that were in it last week. Clemson, who even won this week, is out of the top 25. It's the first time they have been out of the top 25 since week 12 of the 2021 season. It's been almost 2 years since they've been out of the top 25. They won this week 66-17, but maybe the voters felt like there was definitely some teams that deserved to go over Clemson after Clemson's terrible loss against Duke a couple weeks ago. I think that Duke loss is still hurting them a couple weeks later. Teams that are jumping in: Iowa, UCLA, Washington State, and Miami are the new teams in the top 25. Teams that lost, teams that also got out of the top 25, just like Clemson. You have the team that Washington State defeated, number 19 Wisconsin, Texas A&M, who was number 23, and also there was a number 24 Tulane as well. There's 4 teams out of the top 25. It's Clemson, Tulane, Texas A&M, and Wisconsin. Here's what the new top 25 looks like in college football going into week 3. At number 25, you have Iowa, who was non-ranked before, but in week 1 they were ranked 25, so they're back in the top 25. They defeated Iowa State this week 20-13. They're 2-0. Their previous ranking was non-ranked. UCLA, a new team in the top 25. This is the first time they're going to be ranked this season. They were non-ranked last season. They were non-ranked earlier. They've been non-ranked all year. They're 2-0. They just defeated San Diego State 35-10, and they play NC Central next week. Number 23 is Washington State, who is non-ranked but got a huge upset against Wisconsin, who was ranked number 19, 31-22. Washington State is 2-0, and they were not ranked before this matchup. Then you also have Miami Hurricanes, who were non-ranked before the new top 25, and their previous ranking was not being non-ranked, and they're 2-0 now after beating number 23 Texas A&M 48-33. And Tyler Van Dyke had a huge game for Miami on Saturday night against the Aggies. Number 21 is the Duke Blue Devils after defeating Lafayette 42-7. They're 2-0. Their previous ranking was 21, so they stay at the same spot. Number 20 is North Carolina. Their previous ranking was 17. They go down 3 spots. I think they deserve this. They only defeated App State 40-35 in double overtime. There are teams that deserve to jump North Carolina off of good wins this week. And yes, NC did win, but they almost lost to App State and went to double overtime. Number 19 is Oklahoma, previous ranking 18, so they go down 1 spot. They're 2-0, defeated SMU 28-11 this week. So not surprised that Oklahoma went down just a little bit. Number 18, jumping up 4 spots, is Colorado in prime time. Previous ranking was 22. They beat Nebraska 36-14. And then number 17 is Ole Miss after beating ranked number 20. Their previous ranking was 20, and they just beat number 24 Tulane, and that was 37-20. Although Michael Pratt, Tulane quarterback, was out, but Ole Miss jumps up 3 spots. Oregon State stays at the same spot at number 16 after defeating UC Davis 55-7. Same thing goes for Kansas State. They're staying at the same spot at 15 after defeating Troy 42-13. LSU, just like the 2 previous teams, are staying at the same spot at 14 after getting their first win of the season after losing to Florida State in week 1, defeating Grambling 72-10. And then another team staying in the same spot, Oregon, at 13. That was where they were ranked last week. They defeated Texas Tech in a huge comeback win, 38-30 this week. Another team staying at the same spot, Utah. Previous ranking was 12. They're at 12 again this week. They defeated Baylor in another comeback win. These Utah and Oregon back-to-back teams that almost lost to Texas teams this week, but both teams, Utah and Oregon, both came back and avoided huge upsets. Then number 11 is Tennessee. They were previously ranked 9. They did win this week. They won against Austin P. It's spelled P. I think it's Pay. Austin Pay, and they won 30-13, but they did jump they did fall down 2 spots in the top 25. And this is the team that probably took the biggest downfall, and that is the Alabama Crimson Tide after losing to number 11 Texas Longhorns 34-24. And Alabama will play South Florida next week. Alabama drops down 7 spots. And then jumping up 1 spot is Notre Dame after defeating NC State 45-24. You keep seeing them going up a little bit every week. Maybe they can keep doing that. Good win by Notre Dame last week, and it's going to be exciting to see what they do next week against Central Michigan. Central Michigan just suspended and potentially are going to be firing their head coach. I think it's Mel Tucker is their head coach. Number 8 is Washington. They're staying at the same spot. They were 8 last week. They defeated Tulsa this week 43-10, and really, really good win by Washington State this week, and we'll see what they do next week. Number 7, Penn State is staying at the same spot at 7. They defeated Delaware 63-7, so not surprised that Penn State's staying at the same spot. And then dropping down 1 spot again. So Ohio State keeps dropping down. They dropped from 3 to 5 last week, and now they dropped from 5 to 6. They won. They defeated Youngstown State 35-7. Marvin Harrison had a great game with 2 touchdowns, but I think everybody knows that USC kind of deserves to jump Ohio State, and that is who is number 5. USC is number 5 after previously being number 6. They're 3-0. They defeated Stanford 56-10, and they play. They travel to Arizona to match up against Arizona State next week. And then number 4, my Texas Longhorns. The Texas Longhorns are number 4 after beating number 3 Alabama. They were previously ranked 11. This is the first time the Texas Longhorns have been in the top 4 since 2010. So it's been 13 years, but the Texans are back in the top 4, and I don't really see the Texas Longhorns getting out of that top 4 anytime soon, because they play Wyoming this week. That should be a just crushing defeat for Texas after the confidence after beating Alabama. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Texas makes the college football playoffs this season. I know it's early, but this Texas, if this Texas team can win a couple of their hard games that they have to play in the Big 12, some of the hard matchups you will see is Kansas State should be a hard matchup. They're ranked number 15 right now. They play a little bit. They play kind of soon, and then obviously the Red River Showdown against Oklahoma will be a hard game. But after that, if the Texas Longhorns could win the Red River Showdown against Oklahoma and also win the Kansas State game, I don't know if I see this Texas team losing any other games this season, especially the confidence after beating the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think the Texas Longhorns, if they can keep it up and keep it rolling, and Quinn Ewers can keep playing the football that he's playing right now, and his supporting cast keeps playing like the way they are, this Texas team, I do think they will definitely win the Big 12. I know it's early, but I think they will win the Big 12. They haven't played any Big 12 opponents yet, but I think they will be dominant in their Big 12 opponents this year. But I think there's a really good chance you will see Texas make the college football playoffs. All right, number 3 is Florida State jumping up 1 spot. Their previous ranking was 4. They defeated Southern Mississippi 66-13. Good win for Florida State. Number 2 is Michigan. They're staying at the same spot. Their previous ranking was 2. They defeated UNLV 35-7. And the number 1, not surprised here, Georgia, after defeating Ball State 45-3. And probably the best game you will see next week is Georgia versus South Carolina. That's most likely going to be the best game you see next week. There are no unranked matchups next week, and that will probably be the closest good game you see is South Carolina and Georgia next week. That's going to be a really fun game between the two. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed them. Your thoughts on the new top 25, and peace out.